And I go to put my seatbelt on, and there's nothing there. And he, without hesitation, we're already moving. He's in first gear. He goes, "We don't have seatbelts in this truck. We die like men." 2023, I was co-founder of a company or a brand called Sway, and in 2023 was fortunate enough to convince Ed to do what we planned to do would be a Pan-American trip from Prudhoe Bay to Tierra del Fuego. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, so we pivoted a little bit and decided to do Montana to Prudhoe Bay instead and back. And so we had a pretty amazing crew. Fortunate enough to have Ed Bullion and John Ficara with us there. We brought my wife. We end up taking these Porsches and going to Prudhoe Bay. And as you can expect, right, it's an adventure. There's a ton of things that happen to us. But along the way, when we hit the 500-mile stretch between Fairbanks and Prudhoe Bay, it's an ice road. It's a service road for the oil rigs, and there's really nothing there. And it was probably one of the parts of the journey that we planned to have built the cars for. I mean, the cars were designed specifically to be able to handle these kinds of roads. It was going to be a test to see, how well they held up. We heard tons of horror stories that, there are truckers that go by that throw baseball-sized rocks in our windshields, and be really careful. They'll run us off the road, and there's a lot of things to watch out for. When we got there, one of the things that we had included in the builds of these vehicles was including a CB radio, and obviously there's trucks running back and forth. They need to communicate, and so we started kind of pinging all of these drivers and just very politely letting them know that we were on our way, kind of hoping that we could warm them up enough to not run us off the road. And it seemed to work really good. Ed has an amazing way with words and, thanking these drivers for all that they do. And it seemed to work, and they kind of passed that along for us and would let us know when it was safe to pass and kind of keep our speed up and let us do our thing. Halfway, there is a restaurant and gas station in Coldfoot, Alaska, which I think at one point was probably nothing but a small homestead. As we're traveling this stretch of road, we're reaching out to the truckers, grabbing the CB, just trying to make conversation. I end up getting a truck driver, and we start just having a conversation. And we don't know if he's in front of us or behind us at this point, but he's super friendly, and he's telling us about his journey, and find out that they used to go by handles, and he was the homesteader, and he helped early on. He had to have been in his 70s, I imagine. And early on, he was one of the first ones on that road. And we were asking him kind of, how fast they can travel and what that looks like. And interestingly enough, they actually run faster in the wintertime. When it's cold, they'll actually mine ice, chip it, lay it on the ground, and then spray it with fresh water. And that texture actually provides traction for a lot of these trucks. And so, and it's easier to fill potholes and things with ice than it is having to grade the road all the time. So we're really learning a ton about the history and how these truckers do this. And this guy's done like 1 million miles on this road, knows it like the back of his hand. And I'm talking about stories and where we're from, and he's just filling us in. And at one point, he asked me if I want to ride. And so I can't say no. So he says, well, pull up to the next, I'm catching up to you. So he's behind us. Pull up to the next stop and hop in. So we pull over, get out and meet this guy. And this guy looks like he has done 1 million miles on this road. He looks the part. He is the part. And so I say my last goodbyes to the group, hop in the truck with this guy, and I get in and I go to put my seatbelt on, and there's nothing there. And he, without hesitation, we're already moving. He's in first gear. He goes, "We don't have seatbelts in this truck. We die like men." So, okay. And away we go. And he is talking 1 mile a minute, and we are flat flying. He is looking at me. He is not looking at the road. He is staring at me as he's talking, and he has his turns timed. And he knows it's a left, and I'm looking at drop-offs. My heart's racing. I'm trying to get some footage of this as we're driving at the same time. He has a full load, so he has 30,000 pounds behind him and doesn't seem to slow him down at all. He even offers for me to drive at one point that I respectfully declined. And about halfway through my ride, we run out of windshield washer fluid. And he just says, "No, that's okay. We're driving with we can't see a thing." He doesn't care. I mean, he goes, "I know this road's so good." He proceeds to sing me a song. So I get I get a full song. I think he made it up. It was great to have someone in the passenger seat, I think was the title. Tells me that at one point that God sent me to sit in his passenger seat because he was tired and he knew that tonight would be the night that he was going to fall asleep and drive off the road. And so it was a blessing and divine intervention that I called him on the radio and was sitting in the passenger seat, and I got to hear this guy's life story at 100 miles an hour. And it was cool. It was an amazing, amazing story. The terror of riding in the passenger seat in Alaska with a stranger in a semi-truck and going the speeds we were going and hearing his life's problems was pretty incredible. At one point, we stopped on a bridge, and he's telling me that these trucks have so much power that you got to be really careful. If you slow down on the bridge, when you take off, it'll slip out, and you'll just go off the side of the bridge and die. So what does he do? He stops on the bridge and shows me how he can spin out the entire way while pulling a load up the bridge. There's another time when we were talking that he just decided to tell me that sometimes if you crank the wheel really, really hard, you can get it to understeer and scrub until the last minute it'll push enough gravel and catch. And so he was showing me how fast he can turn the wheel until the cab catches. And I was absolutely terrified, but made it out alive. It was an amazing journey. We got to hear the entire kind of story about how these guys actually transport from Prudhoe Bay and how quickly they can repair the road. If there's a washout, they can have a road turned around in 24 hours and ready to go. Also, something that I didn't realize is in the wintertime, they will pump fresh water and make these ice islands because when they're drilling, they want to drill offshore further and further and further. So they'll put these sprinkler systems up that filter the water, cover it with ice, and then they'll move it to the next lily pad, if you will. Then they'll get 80 miles offshore. And he was saying that he would drive out there, and when it gets thin, as he drives to the edge of this ice island, it will tip and he has to be quick to jump on the next leaf or he won't make it, right? And they do that 80 miles offshore so they can drill and pump for oil. And I guess just the experience and the amount of knowledge this guy had. Again, I don't think he's traveled anywhere else. It's the only stretch of road that he knows of, but to kind of know that goes on and happens, right? It's pretty incredible. You know, in the CB world, especially here, you use a lot of low wattage radios. And so usually it's line of sight. You talk to someone, you can see them, you can talk to them. Up there, they're using ultra high power amplifiers, and then some of them are even on VHF, so they'll run both radios. So when we first got on the Dalton Highway and talked to the very first trucker, you know, we were continuing to reach out to every trucker, kind of had the same spiel. You know, hey, if it's not for you guys, the world wouldn't turn. We appreciate all that you're doing. We are trying to, you know, scoot along in a couple of race cars. You know, we had some orange Cayennes that were kind of decked out, hard to miss us. And so we were kind of assuming you needed to talk to every single truck along the way. What we didn't realize is once we talked to one, within the next 100 miles, every single truck already knew we were there and already knew about us. And so they were communicating on our behalf. And so they were, by the end, halfway point, they were rooting for us. And so it turned into a really cool experience to be able to have these guys help us along. And it really kind of changed the perspective. I think that, you know, we heard a lot of horror stories, and it makes sense. You've got a lot of people that travel that road that probably don't recognize the truckers as such a vital piece to our daily lives and transportation and everything else. And giving them that little bit of recognition on what they do, immediately they became fans of what we were doing. When we got to the end, the last 40 miles is this beautiful, out of a movie, paved road, elevated paved road that takes you to Prudhoe Bay. And when we hit that pavement, the last trucker said, You guys aren't going to see anyone else. Pedal to the metal. And away we went, and it felt like we were in a video game. The fog had just settled, and we were scooting, and not a care in the world, no one else, the road to ourselves. It was very surreal.
This month of VINwiki content is brought to you by Premier Financial Services, and they are the perfect partner in your journey to own your dream car because their Simple Lease is the most powerful tool in the world of exotic car financing. You'll get all the benefits of a leasing structure like lower payments and better tax treatment, along with everything we love about a normal exotic car loan where you can trade in and out at any time, always know where you stand thanks to their amortization table, and accumulate equity for whenever you're finished and ready for the next car. And Premier is great because they're wholly owned and backed by First Financial Bank, which means they have more buying power than any other exotic car bank or collector car bank in the United States, and their customer service is unmatched. Also, rates are lower than they have been in a very, very long time, so it's never been a better time to reach out to Premier, talk to their representatives, learn what you can pre-qualify for, and let them help you own the car of your dreams with Premier Financial Services.